tried out all of that, and I'm very sure you got it all correct. Okay, so let's do it together now. Let's start with number one. So number one, I believe number one is the aorta. Number one is the aorta, so you can mark yourself and make corrections if you missed anyone. So number one is aorta. Number two is superior vena cava. Superior vena cava. Number three is right atrium. Right atrium. Number four is pulmonary valve. Pulmonary valve. Number five is right ventricle. Number five is right ventricle. Number six is pulmonary artery. Six is pulmonary artery. Number seven is aortic valve. Aortic valve. Number eight is pulmonary vein. Pulmonary vein. Number nine is left atrium. Then number 10 is the right atrium. So how many did you score? All right. Congratulations once again. Okay. All right, moving on. Let's look at other chambered hearts. Now we've talked about the 4-chambered hearts. Now let's look at the 2-chambered and the 3-chambered. Now the 2-chambered heart is commonly among fish. They say it is the simplest vertebrate heart. Now if you can see, remember the structure of how I described how fishes respirate. I described how they respirate, and I talked about the gills. So when they open their mouth and close the operculum, water comes in contact with the gills. Now the gill filaments will absorb the oxygen in the water, and then once the oxygen is absorbed, it will be sent to the body. Now it will not go to the heart first, it will go to the body first. So the body will be the systemic part will use it to carry out all the body functions. Then after that, the oxygen will attach to a carbon, forming carbon dioxide. So after that, the carbon dioxide will come back to the heart. Now remember, it's the blood that carries them through. So it comes back to the heart. As you can see the heart again, see the atrium. Remember I told you atrium receives. So this is the atrium. Atrium receives the deoxygenated blood and then passes it into the ventricle. Now the ventricle pumps it out back to the lungs. So the gills. By the time it gets to the gills, the carbon dioxide there will be released, and then oxygen will be absorbed again, and it continues the cycle. So it keeps going round and round and round. So that is it. So that's why I said 2-chambered heart is actually the simplest vertebral heart that we have. Okay, and it's seen in fishes. So blood passes through the heart once. Blood passes through the heart once, not twice like 4-chambered. Okay, so look at the 3-chambered hearts. Now you see this among amphibians, they're mostly reptiles. Now amphibians and reptiles, they have a heart with 3-chamber. Now 2 atrium and 1 ventricle. They have 2 atriums and 1 ventricle. Remember again, atrium receives while ventricle pumps, as in sends out. Okay, so the same way from the lungs, oxygenated blood comes in through the left. So this is the left atrium, I believe, from my side, from where I'm seated. It is the left for me. So from the left, it goes into the left atrium. From the left atrium, it goes into the ventricle. Remember, the ventricle has no right or left because it's just one. So it goes into the ventricle, and then from the ventricle it pumps out. I don't know what this is called, but it pumps out into the body of the reptile. Then after that, it returns back again into the right atria. Now from the right atria, it goes into the ventricle, and then it pumps back. Now, like I said, if once you observe the structure, the structure of a 4-chambered heart, every other one will be very easy for you. Remembering the fact that atrium receives while ventricle pumps out. So once you remember this, you have no problem again. Okay. All right. I think that is that for this. Then before we get to the final part, I want to explain something. I want to come back to this. Now, if you look at this structure, remember we said arteries takes blood away from the heart, while veins brings blood into the heart. Okay, now watch this very closely. Now we know that we've already achieved settled the fact that aorta is an artery. Now, but look at aorta. As aorta is taking blood away from the heart, is using the same artery to send the blood into the body organs. Meaning, body organs receives blood through the artery and gives us blood through the vein. Take note of that. So the opposite of what we know about the heart is what is happening in the body organ. The heart removes blood through the arteries, but that same removal will journey down to the organ. So the same channel that they remove blood from is what the others are using to gain. Okay, so for the body cells or body organs, arteries is what they use to take in blood, and they use vein to give out blood. Okay, so take note of that. And then also I want you to to understand this. Okay, okay, that's what we call the hepatic portal vein. Now look at the hepatic portal vein here. Look at the hepatic portal vein here. Now, why it's called the portal vein? Hepatic, from the word hepa, that is, has to do with what? Liver. Hepatitis is about the liver. Okay, so it's as a portal vein. Now, portal is in the sense, think of a portal, just a channel, a hole that connects this to that. So this hepatic portal vein is not connected, is not sending the particles or the blood directly to the lungs or back to the heart. No, they have to also link themselves with another this thing again. So that's why you see, look at this place, so we call that hepatic portal vein. So this, it is only connected to the stomach. Now, why is it like this? Why is it like this? Is because this is stomach. Remember, you know the function of the liver. One of the things the liver does is to I use the word deamination, that is detoxification. They remove toxic materials from the food particles and convert it to bile that they use in digestion. So anything that goes into the stomach, we have to go through the liver for purification. It has to go through the liver for purification. Okay, so if you look at this, you will see that from the stomach, as the thing comes into the stomach, if to first have to go to the liver for purification before any other thing starts. So anytime you eat, so what the liver does is to detoxify the toxins within the food you ate, and once they remove the toxins, they will convert it to bile. So you can go back and study digestion. Maybe you understand it better when you study digestion. Okay, all right, so that is what this does. That's what I'll try to pick out here. The body receives all these things receives blood through the artery, unlike the heart that receives through the vein. So remember that. Okay, so having done that, let's get to the final part of our syllabus. So here we look at blood pressure. No, most of you must have gone to the only time you go to the hospital, they always check your blood pressure. That has been the first thing they'll normally do. They will check your height, check your weight, and then check your blood pressure. Now, if you or some of you have this at home, you have this machine at home, and most times these figures is actually confusing, but I want to explain it to you now. Now you can see this picture. This guy is trying to check his blood pressure. Okay, now if you look at the machine, we have what we call the sys and we have the dia. Now the sys is referring to systole, or they call it systolic pressure. Now the other one is called diastolic pressure, diastole. Now systolic pressure is the pressure when the heart contracts. So when the heart contracts, boom, So the pressure that the heart is mounting on the contraction, pushing the blood, is what reads as systole. And if you check the machine used, systole is always highest, higher in number. That's why you always see something like 120/8. So the pressure that the heart is mounting on the blood when they contract is very high. Remember the ventricle mentioned, so that's what called the ventricle. Remember the ventricle, so the pressure there is very high. So that's why you always have 120/80 as the normal blood pressure. Okay. Then the second one is diastole. Now diastole is when the heart contracts and relaxes. Now when the heart is relaxed, when the heart is not functioning, now the heart takes few seconds, less than 1 second actually. I think they say it's about 0 point something seconds to not do anything. Now think of the heart contracts and relaxes. So they've completed one part now. So that few less than 1 second that is within that the heart gets to rest is what we call diastole. Contract, relax. Before they start another phase of contract, relax, contract, relax. So that in between when they are functional is what we call diastole. Okay, so that's why you always read low. Okay, so that's the systole, and that's so when you get to that machine and take your reading, your blood pressure is going to the systole is supposed to be higher than diastole because what I just explained. And then there's the third number here. If you look closely to that picture, you see a number here called 82. Now that 82 is called pulse. Pulse here has to do with the number of times your heart beats within that period. They always count this in minutes. Okay, the number of times your heart beats within that period. Now for this systole and diastole, the measurement there is mmHg. Now mm there stands for millimeter, while the Hg stands for mercury. So millimeter per mercury. Okay, that's what we're taking. So that's the mmHg. Okay, so that's the mmHg, millimeter per mercury. Because now why they use the word mercury is because this is the modern machine. Olden days, that tube on that stuff inside is actually mercury. So that's why they always use the measurement mmHg. Okay, so that pulse has to do with your heartbeats. Remember, heartbeat has a range. I think 100 is still normal, but by the time you start getting above 100, that's why you see cases of high BP, okay, and all of that. So that is what these three numbers signify. So next time when you go to the hospital or you try to do it alone, or you can do for somebody, you should be able to interpret. And then also mind you, even if you don't get 120/80 as a normal distance, don't worry. Most times people make the mistake of not knowing the right time. If you wake up in the morning and check your blood pressure, it will be normal. But by the time you continue with the daily activity, maybe you come back in the evening or at night and you check your blood pressure, you discover that is a bit higher than normal. Reason, you've stressed yourself. So blood pressure is always advisable to be done when you are relaxed. That's why when you go there, the doctor will tell you, sit down, sit properly, relax yourself. So that's how to get accurate. So your meaning, what I'm trying to say is that your blood pressure will change, is not steady. It keeps changing. The only problem is if you continues like that over and over, that's why there's a problem. And there's no symptom for high blood pressure. There's no symptom. So that's why you always advise to get medical checkup regular, so that you will not. I've seen cases of people that say somebody slumped. I'll tell you, more than 80% causes of instant slumping is actually this blood pressure I just mentioned. So take it easy, take care of yourself, eat what you're supposed to eat, exercise, have a good rest, and practice proper hygiene, and I bet you will be good to go. All right, so I think that is all about this topic. So I wish you all the best. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Bye.